Here is something that does not make sense on the surface. There are men and women in their 50s and 60s who exercise regularly, eat carefully, sleep reasonably well, and still walk into a doctor's office and hear that their blood pressure is dangerously elevated. And there are others, living by every external measure less carefully, whose numbers look perfectly normal. Same condition, opposite profiles. How is that possible? The answer points to a biological picture that is far more complex than most standard health advice acknowledges. Blood pressure is not simply about how hard your heart pumps. It is equally, and in many cases more significantly, a story about your blood vessels. Their tone, their elasticity, their capacity to relax and respond. And there is a layer of metabolic context beneath all of that which most conventional advice never fully addresses. There are 3 specific evidence-supported techniques that work as supportive tools for people managing elevated blood pressure. They carry real physiological mechanisms behind them. The third one is the most counterintuitive, and it also carries the strongest long-term observational data. I am going to ask you to stay with me until minute 7 or 8. Because there is something in the research on that third technique that changes how you think about what blood pressure management actually involves. Stay with me. Let us start with what blood pressure actually reflects, because most people have an incomplete picture of it. Your blood pressure reading captures 2 things happening at the same time. The first is cardiac output, how much blood the heart is pumping and with what force. The second, and equally important, is peripheral vascular resistance, the degree of tension and narrowness in the walls of your blood vessels throughout the body. Both of these factors determine the final number on the monitor, and in most cases of chronically elevated blood pressure in people over 45, vascular resistance is where the story lives. Here is the mechanism. Your arterial walls contain a layer of smooth muscle tissue. When that smooth muscle contracts, the vessel narrows. When it relaxes, the vessel opens up. Blood moves through more easily, resistance falls, and pressure comes down. The branch of the nervous system governing this process, the sympathetic nervous system, when chronically activated, keeps that smooth muscle in a state of sustained contraction. The arteries stay tight, resistance stays elevated, the heart works harder against that resistance, the numbers climb. Now, where does metabolic health enter this picture? Insulin resistance is not a direct cause of high blood pressure. That distinction matters, and I want to be precise about it. But it is a significant contributing factor through several indirect pathways. When cells become resistant to insulin and the body compensates by producing more of it, chronically elevated insulin levels influence the kidneys, prompting greater sodium retention, which increases fluid volume in circulation. Elevated insulin also contributes to increased sympathetic nervous system activity and, over time, to structural changes in vascular tissue. None of these mechanisms act in isolation, and it is important to be clear, hypertension and metabolic dysfunction are not the same condition, but they share overlapping biological terrain. And addressing that metabolic terrain is one of the reasons lifestyle-based approaches can genuinely move the numbers over time. This is the foundation for understanding why the 3 techniques ahead actually work and what their limitations are. Coming up shortly, the first technique involves a part of the body you would never expect, and the anatomical reason it works is genuinely fascinating. But I want to be careful about exactly what the evidence does and does not show, because the nuance matters. The first technique involves stimulating a specific area of the ear in a way that engages the vagus nerve. Let me explain the anatomy first, because it is the foundation of why this is worth discussing at all. Running through the inner curved surface of the ear, the concave, bowl-shaped area near the entrance of the ear canal, is a branch of the vagus nerve called the auricular branch. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in the body. It connects the brainstem directly to the heart, the lungs, and the digestive tract. The vagus nerve is the longest cranial nerve in the body. It connects the brainstem directly to the heart, the lungs, and the digestive tract. It is the primary neural highway of the parasympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic activation does the opposite of fight or flight. It slows the heart rate, reduces vascular smooth muscle tone, and allows arteries to dilate. Here is where I need to be precise with you about what the research actually says, because this matters. The strongest and most clinically documented evidence for auricular vagal stimulation comes from electrical stimulation, not manual pressure alone. Studies using transcutaneous electrical auricular vagal stimulation have shown measurable effects on cardiovascular autonomic tone. The evidence for manual pressure, simply using your fingers on the ear, is more limited and less consistent, though some relaxation-related research suggests it may contribute to a mild parasympathetic shift in certain individuals. What manual ear massage can reasonably offer is a simple, low-barrier relaxation technique that may support a calmer nervous system state. If it helps reduce background sympathetic activation, even modestly, that is physiologically meaningful over time. But it should be understood as a gentle, supportive practice, not a substitute for any medical intervention. The method, for those who wish to try it: use the tip of your index finger, place it at the inner curved surface of the ear near the entrance of the canal, and apply slow, gentle circular pressure against that curved bowl for 60 to 90 seconds. It costs nothing. It carries no risk. And the calming effect, whatever its precise mechanism, is something many people notice. The second technique is the body scan, and I want to be direct about something before explaining it. The words body scan carry unnecessary baggage. People hear them and picture 45 minutes on a yoga mat. This is 60 seconds in a chair, and it has genuine physiological logic behind it. Your brain continuously monitors the state of your body, a process called interoception. When your attention is fragmented, scattered across competing demands, replaying a difficult conversation, half present and half elsewhere, your nervous system defaults to a background state of sympathetic activation. Muscle tension accumulates throughout the body, largely unconsciously. Breathing remains shallow. The smooth muscle surrounding your arteries stays in mild, sustained constriction. Vascular resistance stays elevated. When you direct slow, deliberate, continuous attention through your body, moving systematically without attempting to change anything, the brain's monitoring system is given the opportunity to reassess. It registers something close to, the body is present, there is no active threat. And in response, background muscle tension begins to release, breathing deepens, and sympathetic drive to vascular smooth muscle may gradually ease. The method: sit with your spine reasonably upright. Close your eyes. Take one slow breath in through your nose, about 4 counts, and out through your mouth, about 6 counts, just one breath. Then place your attention at your feet, not trying to change anything, simply noticing temperature, sensation, contact with the floor. 5 or 6 seconds. Then move upward. Lower legs, knees, thighs, hips, abdomen, chest, shoulders, arms from upper arm to fingers, neck, face, scalp. The full sequence takes 60 to 90 seconds. The most common error is rushing, moving attention so quickly the exercise ends in 15 seconds before anything has shifted. Give each region a genuine moment of awareness. To be clear about what this technique is, it is a structured relaxation practice. It does not replace antihypertensive medication. It does not reverse arterial stiffness on its own. But chronic sympathetic overdrive is a real and well-documented contributor to elevated blood pressure. And anything that consistently reduces that background activation has biological value when practiced regularly. Now, stay with me, because the third technique works through an entirely different mechanism. It is physical rather than neurological, and the long-term data behind it surprised me when I first looked closely at it. I will share exactly what that data shows in a moment. But first, if this kind of careful, evidence-grounded content is what you are looking for, please subscribe to Golden Glow Senior. This channel is built around exactly this approach, not oversimplified advice, but the actual mechanisms behind what affects health in people over 50. Subscribing now means you will see everything that is coming. Now, the third technique is the warm foot bath. Let me return for a moment to the concept of peripheral vascular resistance, because it is the key to understanding why this works. When blood pressure is elevated, a major component of that elevation is resistance, the friction blood encounters moving through constricted vessels throughout the body. The heart pumps against that resistance. Reduce the resistance, and the pressure required to move blood through the system falls with it. Heat has a well-established effect on this equation. When you place your feet in warm water, comfortably warm, approximately 38 to 40 degrees Celsius, or roughly 100 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit, the thermal stimulus causes peripheral arteries in the feet and lower legs to vasodilate. They relax and open, blood redistributes toward the extremities, away from the central circulation. That redistribution reduces total systemic vascular resistance. Lower resistance means the heart does not need to exert as much pressure. Multiple studies have documented meaningful acute reductions in blood pressure during warm foot bathing sessions. The research window for consistent acute effect is 10 to 15 minutes. Less than 10 minutes appears insufficient. Beyond 30 minutes adds no additional benefit. Now, many sources recommend adding Epsom salt, which is magnesium sulfate, to the water. And I want to address this directly and honestly because the claim is frequently overstated. The idea is that magnesium, absorbed through the skin, acts as a natural calcium channel blocker on vascular smooth muscle, keeping arteries more relaxed. However, the scientific evidence for meaningful transdermal absorption through intact skin is not well established. Current research does not support the claim that soaking your feet in Epsom salt delivers clinically significant amounts of magnesium into the body. So be precise. The benefit is thermal. The warm water is the mechanism. If you find the addition of Epsom salt relaxing or enjoyable, there is no harm in using it. But the primary driver of the blood pressure effect is vasodilation from heat, not magnesium absorption through the skin. Here is what makes this technique worth taking seriously for the long term, and this is the part that surprised me most when I reviewed the literature. Studies examining regular thermal foot bathing have shown not only acute reductions during sessions, but sustained improvements in resting baseline blood pressure over time. The proposed mechanisms include progressive improvements in endothelial function, the health and responsiveness of the inner lining of blood vessels, and gradual favorable adaptation in autonomic nervous system resting tone. In other words, consistent practice appears to gradually shift the biological baseline, not just produce temporary effects session by session. That is a meaningful distinction. And it connects back to the vascular and metabolic picture described at the beginning, because regular thermal vasodilation is one of the ways the vascular system, over time, can partially recover the elasticity and responsiveness it loses through years of chronic sympathetic overdrive. This is not a dramatic overnight transformation. It is the kind of consistent compounding change that alters your numbers meaningfully over months and changes the underlying biology, not just the surface reading. You now have 3 supportive tools, each working through a different biological pathway. Auricular ear stimulation engages the vagal nerve branch in the ear, contributing to parasympathetic activation and reduced vascular tone. The body scan reduces chronic background sympathetic activation by restoring deliberate interoceptive awareness, lowering the nervous system's sustained drive to keep vascular smooth muscle contracted. The warm foot bath uses thermal vasodilation to reduce peripheral resistance acutely, None of these techniques replace medical treatment. Let that be absolutely clear. They are supportive practices, not substitutes. Their value lies in the compounding effect of consistent use alongside, not instead of, whatever medical guidance you are already following. If you want to start tonight, the body scan has the lowest barrier. 60 seconds, no preparation, immediately accessible. If you want the technique with the most robust long-term data, build the foot bath into your evening routine 4 to 5 times per week. Pair it with something you already do: television, reading, a conversation with someone you care about. If content like this, precise, evidence-grounded, is what you are looking for, subscribe to Golden Glow Senior before you leave this video. There is a great deal more coming on arterial health, metabolic biology, and the specific tools that genuinely matter for people over 50. You will not want to miss it. If you are currently on blood pressure medication, please do not use anything discussed in this video as a reason to reduce or stop your prescription without speaking directly to your physician. That would be genuinely dangerous. These techniques are supportive practices. They are tools to bring to your health, alongside, not in place of, medical care. What I hope you take from this video is a more accurate picture of what blood pressure actually is. It is not a single number produced by a single cause. It is the combined output of your heart's function, your vessel's tone and elasticity, your nervous system's resting state, and a network of metabolic factors. All of those things are, to varying degrees, influenceable through consistent daily practice. Chronic sympathetic overdrive keeps smooth muscle contracted and vascular resistance elevated. Targeting that nervous system state directly is one of the most accessible levers available to you outside of a clinical setting. You do not have to wait for a crisis to begin paying attention to these mechanisms. You can begin tonight.